Hello there, I'm Fred and this is the Daria Reactions. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. For those who don't know what this is, beyond this being my excuse to rewatch every single episode of Daria for the first time in over 25 years in several episodes cases, um, it's part nostalgia trip, part reaction, part discussion, just going back and remembering one of the best shows that MTV ever produced. Of course, if you're looking to catch Daria these days, I know it's on Paramount Plus. You can get these seasons on here on YouTube. You can actually purchase these individual seasons. So, and the also on Amazon Prime, uh, or Prime Video. You can get the seasons and stuff there as well. So Daria is actually a show that is not exactly lost, but at the same time, you kind of feel like it's forgotten about because it is one of those shows that it's very, very late 90s. Unlike shows that like Buffy the Vampire Slayer that has that supernatural element in it that kind of makes it uh where you can like rewatch it at any point in time. Hence why it's always in syndication in some shape, form, or fashion these days. Daria is a show that's is it's like it's a time capsule of sorts of of how basically Generation X was kind of viewing like the post grunge phase heading into the millennium aspect of things. And am I stalling for time here? Because I like my these videos to be a certain length. Yes, I am. Anyway, so with that said, we are going to be diving into the episode "I Don't" from season 2. What do I remember about this episode? It is the episode where the Morgendorfers go out to a wedding. I think it's one of. I think it's the wedding is for somebody on Helen's side of the family, if memory serves me right. I could be wrong on that. I know Quinn is just all or at least I remember Quinn being all like totally thrilled with like, oh, she gets to dress fancy, she gets to be a part of the wedding party, and also more importantly the center of attention of the of all the groomsmen and everybody else there. Of course that kind of plays into the creep factor that kind of surrounds Quinn a lot of the time in this show, where you have all these older gentlemen flirting and hitting on her, but that is what it is there. Um, then you have the what this episode is probably best remembered for, off again going off of my memory here, and I believe this is the episode where Helen's younger sister Amy debuts, so making her obviously Daria and Quinn's aunt. And what made Amy memorable is that she's was essentially what one would envision Daria being grown up, essentially. Um, so it's so there. I remember there being like some like a great like bonding moments. Like they go off and do their own thing. They get away from the wedding. They go. I remember that, and then they have like their own talks and discussions, which again it's again it's what makes this episode stand out and memorable even all these years later. So with that said, how we also do this here, we do like the classic window slash display capture, and we turn the blur filter on and off. You'll hear ambient audio coming from my speakers to my microphone here, but no straight audio here because of, well, again, we're doing this entirely like long form, but at the same time to get around the all and focus on the, what's what I'm looking for here, transformative works, as it were. Of course, I could always do the classic do this with it. But I prefer doing like the blur on and off. It essentially allows you to follow along here, so you know exactly what the hell I'm referring to. So with that said, let's dive into it, shall we? Let's shall. Ooh, that's loud. What do you do with the hostages when you get to the airport? Oh, that's right. Rita also debuts, and that's Helen's older sister. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I was right. It is someone on Helen's side of the family. It's Aaron, whoever the hell that is. Helen is not pleased. Just look at the way she's designed here and that notepad. It's like I know there's an episode later on where like basically Helen, Rita, and Amy get like into a brawl of some sorts. Oh, Helen's mother is paying for the wedding. Hey, Jake can golf if he wants to. Well, Quinn has her priorities straight. You know, if the dress doesn't match her hair, dyeing her hair to match the dress makes about sense. Wow. Daria would prefer a funeral, but you know what the difference between a wedding and a funeral? Not a damn thing if you're a guy, because typically it's the end of your life. Ba-da-ba. What? Did she mean that for in case Daria was going to blow chunks just to have her turn around? Why would there be a bridal expo at Lawndale High and then I think about Principal Lee and realize, yeah, of course there would be a bridal expo at Lawndale High. Yes, Lincoln shot himself. Uh, You know, Brittany did had a poignant question. The bullet didn't kill President Lincoln. It it does. Blue and orange. Yeah, blue and orange does kind of work together. You know, that's actually a pretty good look for Helen with little flowers in the hair and like the pink ensemble with the black and the necklaces. Again, that's a pretty good look for her when you consider the actual character model. Meanwhile, at Lawndale High, Kevin There are times that Kevin seems smart. And at least and almost insightful. Like, okay, if Brittany and Jody are telling them not to come and see them, it's like, oh, he's interpreted as like, yeah, come and see him, be supportive. Wow, wow, they went there with that, with the same sex couples reference. Daria did get the same dress as the other bridesmaids. Look at it. I mean, look at it. Really, it's the same dress. Jake is really wishing he brought her his clubs. And so the real big question here is this: if Rita is closer to Quinn in terms of personality, and that's if a huge if there, and Daria is very closer to Amy. I was like, wonder if there is a member of the Helen side of the family that someone else is kind of similar to her. Amy will sit wherever she damn well pleases. And the clouds are rolling in. Nothing like rain at a wedding, folks. You know, you always need a downpour, and it's symbolism. And it's an outdoor wedding too, so yes, it can. See, there you go. That, he agrees with me. It's like rain is perfect for a wedding. Yeah, Quinn trying to drop the cousin line in terms of how to describe Daria really backfired there. She did get the same dress. It's a running gag, but I can't help but just say to react to the joke. And what's the age difference between these two again? Daria? No, it does not. Lerman does not want to be there. Well, there's something that would be worn by your typical Dallas Cowboys fan. And good call on having Upchuck uh, being the MC for this event. And again, I would say that is a good design in terms for Britney. Oh, great. Kevin wet himself. Yeah, I know he dropped his soda. Why did the captions indicate that Britney squealed? What is love? Well, baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. Baby, don't hurt me no more. That's Daria has the right idea. But seriously, who cries at weddings? The fact that Amy just made a face and broke Daria is actually pretty cool. I like that. Brittany got distracted by flowers. I'm somehow not surprised. Yeah, Rita, it does seem a little bit dingy, being like the older version of Quinn, if one wants to make that comparison. Hey, we know for a fact that Helen and Jake have a pretty good love life when the kids are not out of the house. You know, sure it was. You know, everybody should split a bottle of him. I will not repeat the full line there, but yes. No, seriously, Aaron would be actually. Aaron looks definitely more like a grown-up Quinn. Granted, I make that comparison with Rita, but you know, in terms of like comparison, like Helen's sisters to Daria and Quinn. Oh my god! Of course, of course. I knew there was going to be something. I knew there was going to be something involving Quinn and another gent. There's a difference. Yes. Who doesn't like being forced to be with family at a big family gathering? I have memories of high school too. I will not discuss them unless forced. Do, 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 do. Seriously, seriously, why is this a running gag with Quinn? You look, I'm 40. I always feel out of place at family gatherings. So, like, correction, I'm 41. Shoot, and a half. Like, I stick to myself as if you can totally can tell that by the Funko wall, but still. That is actually a unique thing there with Amy being the youngest of the three sisters. Again, with Rita being the oldest, Helen being the middle child, and Rita being the youngest is like Helen and Rita fought all the damn time. And Amy almost like this, like being off on the sidelines. And again, I know there's an episode later on where that is brought up and they get into like some sort of fight or a three-way argument. She is? And they're buying Daria's. Oh, wow, Daria's actually somehow really blending in there. Helen is hammered. How many glasses does she have? It's like Helen's not bitter. She's drunk off her ass. Oh, is this the well, Dodge Dart was a decent car. Oh, good lord. Pun intended there, considering this guy is a priest, minister, reverend, whatever. Oh no. Well, I get why Quinn puts herself in those situations, just to be a little instigator, intentionally or unintentionally. Boy, they bounce real quick. Daria has no problems. Yeah, clearly. Helen's party is about to begin. Seriously, we want her to cause a scene. Yes, we do, Helen. Yes, we want you to spoil the wedding. Go nuts. Go ape shit. Do it. Wow, this has escalated quite quickly. I'm down for having some cheese fries, but at the time I'm recording this, it's 4:30 in the morning. Don't make eye contact. Sneak out the front door as quickly as possible. Man, I can't think of the last time I went bowling. Actually, I can. It was probably about 10 years ago. Fun fact, no one ever grows out of it. So the groom made a run for it. Interesting. Oh, and the cops arrive. Wow. They really tore things up there. Jake is going to have fun no matter what. So yeah. Um so easily a great little episode, very memorable for it. I again, so I was partly right that Helen and Rita get into it, but Amy, sneaks off with Daria just to get the hell out of Dodge and everything of that sort. But I think there is another episode, like I think it's in season 4 or season 5. I think, I'm not entirely sure, that they get into some sort of argument or something in front of the Morgendorfer house. We will eventually discover to see if I'm right about that or not down the road, of course. Um, Again, for the introduction of Amy, it seemed like, okay, this is what Daria will be like as an adult. I was like, it's pretty cool. It's just like she has a little bit of a silly side, and again, I little moment there where Daria is just looking away and turning her attention to looking at the other attendants in the wedding, and the fact that Amy makes a face and just breaks Daria. That's a cute little moment there. Obviously the big problematic scene is, of course, with Quinn and the priest. That goes on long, way too long. But at the same time, at least the dude, you could almost look at it in a way that the dude that was assigned to be Quinn's escort, you can almost look at that, him getting into the fight with the priest, minister, reverend, whatever. You can look at the scene that he's coming almost to Quinn's defense there. Now, I want to choose to look at that scene and the resulting fist fight that way, because Quinn is actually being attentive to him and like treating his battle wounds and stuff of that sort. Jake eventually going off to the golf course in the middle of the night. Is like he's gonna play. He's gonna get some holes in one way or another, and we can't blame him on that. We really can't. It's actually it's a great little moment for Jake. Uh, just to like, it feeds to his characters, especially since he was like dragged there. He was told by Helen that, oh, he was not going to be able to do any golfing. Um, so the question is, did he rent the clubs, and how much did Jake pay the attendant that was with him there to go out there and hold a flashlight and such? Uh, the little bridal expo thing. Typical. The setup was there for Kevin to annoy Brittany again, and the little same-sex marriage joke. It's very much in the way it was delivered, is very much a product of its time, because we know eventually same-sex marriage would be legalized and so forth. Uh, like, I think it was almost like 10 years after this episode aired. So again, that the same sex marriage joke does not work entirely well, in my opinion. Just looking back on it, Jane's only in it for like the opening intro thing, where it's like, oh, and that's it. So it's but at the same time, we also get Upchuck for the first time appearing in an episode in quite a while. I think it's like Upchuck was not in the in the Daria Hunter, now that I think about it. Which is actually kind of amazing. If he was in that episode, I don't think he had any lines. But in terms of characters that have speaking roles, you had Daria, Quinn, Helen, Jake, Rita, Amy, Kevin, Mac, Brittany, Jody, Jane, the three bridesmaids, Lerman, Quinn's escort, the priest, reverend, minister, whatever, Peter, which was Rita's current boyfriend, Aaron. So you're looking at a nearly, I would say, that's a quite that's quite a large cast, and also Upchuck in it, and of course Sandy appears briefly as well on the as part of the fashion expo there, but with no lines. So they actually got a lot of characters in it, and a lot of varied characters too. So there's a big plus for this episode. So I think that just about covers everything. I think over the course of it. But one more joke about marriage and things that says marriage is an institution. And let me say this, folks, that the only type of institution you should ever want to be checked into is an asylum. So with that last bad joke aside, we'll wrap this up here. Obviously, if you leave your comments and thoughts on this particular episode of Daria in the comment section below, I do read them. I do tend to like and favorite every single comment that appears, and also respond. And I do like to reply to them, especially if you say something insightful. Unlike the Overwatch community, there's no one insightful in that community. So as I like to say, tighten your friendship bracelet, stay safe, have a good one, and we'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.